Hello students, I am Ketki Bhatnagar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mass Communication from Babu Banarsi Das University, Lucknow. This is the fifth video lecture series of the subject Media Research and Practices for Masters and for graduate students also. They can also consider this PPT for their syllabus. In previous video lecture, we have discussed about the various approaches in the research and the various types of hypothesis and what is hypothesis. Now in this presentation, we will start with the sampling and its types. So here we start. What is sampling? Sampling is what? Sampling means to select individual or a group for our own study. In sampling, what we do? We take a group of people just to study them for our own study. Sampling involves the study or a small number of individual objects chosen from a large group for a study or for a research. In statistics, the quality assurance and survey methodology, sampling is the selection of subset, a statistical sample of individual within a statistical population to estimate characteristics of the whole population. That means we take a subset, a small group of people from the large group to study for our research work. We take samples. A sample is a portion of people drawn from a large population. The population which we are considering to collect small portion, that is sampling. We collect samples from a large population. It will be representation or it will be a representative of the whole population which we are considering for our study. Statisticians attempt for the samples to represent the population in question. Two advantages of sampling are lower cost and faster data collection than measuring the entire population. जब भी हम सैम्पलिंग की बात करते हैं तो सैम्पलिंग से क्या होता है, हमारा लो कॉस्ट लगती है. हम आगे बात करेंगे सेंसस और सैम्पल सर्वे की, दैट देयर इज़ अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन व्हाट इज़ द डिफरेंस बिटवीन सेंसस एंड सैम्पल सर्वे. सैम्पल सर्वे लो कॉस्ट में हो जाता है और इसको हम कंसीडर करते हैं जब हमारी पॉपुलेशन बहुत लार्ज हो, जब हमारा डेटा कलेक्शन बहुत बड़े लार्ज ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल से हो. एंड इट इज़ अ फास्टर डेटा कलेक्शन मेथड. येस, सैम्पलिंग इज़ अ फास्टर मेथड in comparison to other data collections. We can compare it with the census also, census sample survey. So here we start with the population. अभी मैंने बात की थी कि सैम्पल हम किससे लेते हैं, सैम्पल हम लेते हैं पॉपुलेशन में से. So let us start with the population. There are certain terms which we use while considering a sample or a portion from a population. What is a population? The population is a group that is studied by the researcher. I have told you, we study the samples and we take the samples from where? From the whole population. Second, sampling, the process of selecting a part of population. Yes, we take a subset or a part from that particular population which we are considering. Next, sample. What is sample? The selected part of the population, the portion or an individual or a group which we have selected from that population. What is sample size? The number of people in the selected sample. The people who got selected for the sampling is called sample size. Sampling frame, that what is a sampling frame? The list of individual or people included in the sample. हर एक इंसान या इंडिविजुअल जिसको हमने अपने सैम्पल में लिया है उसकी लिस्टिंग करते हैं, उसको हम कहते हैं सैम्पलिंग फ्रेम. वी जस्ट जॉट डाउन ऑल द इंडिविजुअल और ऑल द ग्रुप पीपल नेम्स और वी कैन कंसिडर देयर एज, सो वी हैव टू राइट इट डाउन एंड मेक देयर लिस्ट. दैट इज कॉल्ड सैम्पलिंग फ्रेम. नाउ वी टॉक अबाउट सैम्पलिंग टेक्निक. दैट व्हाट इज अ सैम्पलिंग टेक्निक? It refers to the technique or procedure used to select members of the sample, that what kind of technique which we have used for that particular sampling. So let us move towards next slide. Yes, this diagram shows what? That it is a population, whole population, then we have targeted population, then we have selected certain group of individuals for our study. I hope you understood. Now we will talk about need of sampling, that why we need to do a sampling. So let us start. First point, large population is conveniently covered. I have told you guys, जब हमारे पास लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पीपल होते हैं और हमें स्टडी करनी होती है और हमें सब लोगों को कंसीडर करना होता है अपनी स्टडी में, तो हम उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में क्या करते हैं, हम सैम्पलिंग करते हैं. जब हमारा पॉपुलेशन जिसको हमें स्टडी करना है वो बहुत बड़ी हो और हमें उसमें लोगों के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू चाहिए, हमें उनसे इंटरव्यू लेना है, या हम जो भी अपना डेटा कलेक्शन मेथड कर रहे हैं उसमें हम सैम्पलिंग करके अपनी लार्ज पॉपुलेशन से डेटा कलेक्ट कर सकते हैं ईजिली. सेकेंड, use when the data is unlimited. Yes, when the population is large, we cannot count them, then what we consider the sampling method. Third point, lower cost. Yes, it has a lower cost. We need not to, as a researcher, we need not to spend lot of money in doing sampling. Next point, less time consuming. Yes, there is no need to spend lot of time just doing sampling or a census. I'm just comparing it, but yes, sampling need very less time. Next, accuracy of result. Yes, there is an accuracy of result. So these are the basic points which we will consider why sampling is needed for a researcher. And sampling helps a lot to a researcher in their study. So let us move towards next slide. Here we will talk about the types of sampling. Sampling के types क्या हैं? So here there are two types of sampling. First, the probability sampling. Next, the non-probability sampling. Let us start with the probability sampling. Probability, हमने वर्ड सुना होगा पहले, प्रोबेबिलिटी. यस, इस काम की होने की प्रोबेबिलिटी है, इस काम की होने की प्रोबेबिलिटी नहीं है. दैट मीन्स व्हाट? प्रोबेबिलिटी मीन्स यस, देयर इज अ चांस टू गेट सेलेक्टेड. A method of sampling that uses of random selection so that all the units cases in the population have an equal probability of being chosen. For example, I have a data or I have a population of 100 or 1000 people, then those all 1000 or 100 people have chance, or they have the probability to get selected as a sample for that particular study. That means there is a probability to get selected to be chosen by a researcher for their research purpose or for that particular study or for that particular observation. Now the non-probability sample. That what is non-probability sampling? It is just an opposite of the probability sampling. It does not involve random selection and methods are not based on the rational. So here we talk about non-probability sampling. Does not involve random selection and methods are not based on the rationale of probability theory. That means that all the units or all the individual or groups which we have selected as a population, they have not equal chances to get selected for that particular study. That is called non-probability sampling. So let us start with the probability sampling. A sample that selects subject with a known probability, yes, they have the chance to get selected for that particular study. That is called a probability sampling. Every unit in the population has equal chances. Yes, if there are 1000 people or 1000 or 100 people for that population, then they all have equal chances to get selected for that particular study. Probability samples are important when one wishes to generalize to the larger population because one knows the response will fit in the characteristics of the population. If I talk about probability sampling, yes, today remains it is a primary method for selecting the large number of population. Probability method is a primary method for selecting the large representative or sample for any kind of research, for business research, for social science research, or any scientific research. We can also consider the probability sampling. So this is all about what is a probability sampling. I hope you all got that what is probability sampling. Now here we will discuss what are the four basic types of probability sampling. Here we will discuss the types of probability sampling. So the first type of probability sampling is simple random sampling. That what is a simple random sampling? As this is a self-explanatory word, simple random sampling, that we just select the sample randomly, that all the units of the population have equal chances, but there is a random sampling that anyone can get selected randomly. Assures that each element in the population has an equal chance. Yes, everyone has an equal chance to get selected for that particular study. Selection is free from biasness. Yes, there is no biasness. There are n number of examples we can use for that simple random sampling is lottery method. There is a lottery method. Yes, we have a bowl. We can have chit. We can use that for that simple random sampling, and we can select one chit, and each and every unit of that population have the equal right to get selected by that method. Now here we start with the second type of sampling of probability sampling, systematic sampling. Systematic sampling, we also called it as an interval sampling. Systematic sampling is when you choose every nth individual to be a part of the sample. That yes, we select nth individual. That for example, if I am taking, if I have a data of 100 people, then I am selecting every fifth number person for our study. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have selected the fifth number of person, that is Ankit. Next 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. That is also a fifth number of the person who is considering as an fifth number. After fifth, then I am considering the 10th one. Then I am considering the 15th one. And then I am considering the 20th one. And so on till 100. For example, you can select every fifth person to be in the sample. I have told you that yes, on the 5th position is the Ankit, and on the 10th position the same one, the 5th one we have considered as the Suraj, the 15th one as the 5th one as the Sonal, and so on till 100. Systematic sampling is an extended implementation of same old probability technique in which each member of the group is selected at regular periods to form a sample. Yes, there is a system. Why? Because we are selecting the particular nth individual. We have made certain system that yes, we have to take data from 5th notion or from the 6th one, and from the large population, or if we have small group, so we can consider any number, but we have to select that in a systematic way. Yes, we cannot consider that we are considering 5th and for selecting the next sample we are taking the 7th one. No, we have to follow certain system that if we have selected the 5th one, then we have to select every unit at the position of the 5th one. This is all about a systematic sampling. What we do in a systematic sampling? The sampling is obtaining a collection of elements by drawing the every nth person from a predetermined list of persons. In simple words, it is a randomly selecting the first respondent and then every nth respondent from that particular list or the population. So let us move towards the next type of probability sampling. Third, stratified random sampling. In this particular type of sampling, this is the form of sampling in which the population is divided into a number of strata or subgroups, and a sample is drawn from each stratum, that we divide our data into a particular strata or subset. These sub-examples make up the final sample of the study. These subsets help a researcher to do that particular study. In this sampling, what we do? We define the method involving dividing the population. We just divide the population in a homogeneous strata. After selecting the samples from that particular strata, then what we do? Then we select simple random samples from each of the stratum, or we can call it as from that particular strata which we have divided. On what basis? On homogeneous characteristics. So it involves a method where the researcher divides a more extensive population into a smaller group that usually don't overlap but represent the entire population. While sampling, organize these groups and then draw a sample from each group separately. A standard method is to arrange or classify by sex, by age, by ethnicity and similar ways. So these are the points which I have mentioned, that there must be homogeneous characteristic. For example, if I have taken the data or a population of 1,000 people, then I am dividing that particular population into strata on the basis of their age, that I am considering all the person who have the age of 50 years or who are less than 50 years or more than 50 years. Then I have divided my population into a strata, that I have to consider the people who are above 50. So there must be homogeneous characteristic. And what is that particular characteristic? That is the age, more than 50 years. Members of these groups should be distinct so that every member of all groups get equal opportunity. Yes, they'll get the equal opportunity to get selected using simple probability. This sampling method is also called random quota sampling. Why random quota sampling? Because we have divided our population or samples into a particular strata or stratum, or we can call it as a subset on the basis of homogeneous characteristic. Although they have different characteristics, but I have, or a researcher have chosen one particular characteristic and divided that population or sample into a strata or a group on the basis of age, on the basis of sex, on the basis of ethnicity, or we can consider n number of things for dividing our data into a strata. I can also consider the complexion on the basis of their behavior, on the basis of their age, on the basis of female and male, child, adult, or above 18 or less than 18. So this is all about the strata. We divide our population or sample into a strata, particular group, into a subset. So let us move toward next type of sampling, that is random cluster sampling. That what is it? So what is this random cluster sampling? Cluster sampling is a sampling plan used when mutually homogeneous yet internally heterogeneous. That means from internal they are different characteristics, but they are particularly having some mutual homogeneous nature. That yes, if I am considering the people of same university or students of same university, that what they have mutual homogeneous nature, that they are from the same university and they are from the same batch, like BTech. If I am considering the data of BTech students from the city Lucknow, then what I am considering? The university If I am talking about data of the BTech students from the Lucknow, then what I have, the homogeneous nature, that yes, they are from the Lucknow University, or they are from the Babu Banasi Das University, or they are from Sri Ram Swaroop University, and they are, what they have homogeneous, they are from BTech group, and they have same age group, and what they have, they are belonging from different cities, so they have heterogeneous nature, but they have some homogeneous nature or behavior or characteristics which I am considering for my particular study. So it is often used in marketing research. In this sampling plan, the total population is divided into these groups and a simple random sample of the group is selected. What is this random cluster sampling? It is a way to select participants randomly. Yes, we select the participant randomly that are spread out geographically. As I have given the example of university students, that what I am considering, that I am taking the students of BTech group. They have same characteristic, that they are from the BTech group, but they are from various different cities, but they have the same characteristic, that they are from the BTech group, and what they are sharing the same characteristic, that they are from the particular university, from any particular university in the Lucknow. For example, if you wanted to choose 100 participants from the entire population of the US, or you can take the example of India, it is likely impossible to get a complete list of everyone. Yes, it is very difficult task. Instead, the researcher randomly selects area, that is on the basis of cities or countries, and randomly, and then what that particular researcher do, then he or she will randomly select the data or the samples from within those boundaries. If I have to collect the data, for example, I am considering one more example. If I have to consider the data of India, I have to select students of mass communication, then what I will do, I'll divide my data or population on the basis of cities, and then I will consider, and then what I will do, and I will for sure do that, I will select particular city, I will particularly select one university, and then I will select the data or samples, collect the samples from that particular city and university. So these are the basic types of probability sampling. Now let us move towards next type of sampling, that is non-probability sampling. As I have discussed about the probability and non-probability sampling, here we discuss the non-probability sampling. Non-probability sampling is a sampling technique where the samples are gathered in a process that does not give all the individuals in the population equal chance of being selected. That in before we have discussed the probability sampling, there were equal chances of every unit to get selected, but in non-probability sampling, not all the units have equal chances to get selected for that particular study. Basically, non-probability sampling is used for the qualitative research. It is also used in quantitative also, but basically most of the time it is used for the qualitative research, or for the qualitative exploratory analysis also it is used. In probability sampling, samples are selected on the basis of researcher's subjective judgment. Yes, it totally depends on the researcher, that how they or how one or how he or she wants to select the samples. Not everyone has an equal chance to participate. Yes, there is no equal chance for every unit to get selected. This method does not help in representing the population accurately. Yes, it lacks accuracy. Next, finding an audience is very simple. Yes, because it has researcher's subjective judgment. So, the researcher can take any sample. They have their own choice how to select. There is no difficulty in selecting the data, because somewhere there is some biasness in selecting the samples. That's why it is an easy to select the audience or a sample for our particular study. So now here we will talk about the types of non-probability sampling. First, convenience sampling. What is convenience sampling? It is also a self-explanatory word, convenience. That yes, it is easy way to select anything by our own choice. Convenience sampling is a non-probability sampling technique where samples are selected from the population only because they are conveniently available. They are the samples which we are considering for our study. They are easily available for the researcher for their particular study. Convenience sampling is also known as accidental or haphazard sampling. In this sampling, the researcher studies all those persons who are most conveniently available for that particular study or who accidentally come in his or her contact during that certain period of time in the research. For example, the researcher engaged in the study in a particular study of university students might visit the university canteen, library, in some other departments, playgrounds, or visit the university playgrounds or anywhere in the university, and they can consider the samples or the students for their own research. What is the advantage and why it is easy to do? Because the most obvious advantage of convenience sampling is that it is quick and economical. Yes, it is very quick and it is the easiest form of sampling, and it consumes less time because we have the samples available in a easy way, in a convenient way, and we can contact to our samples easily without wasting time and without spending much money on that. It is economical as well. But what is the drawback? It may be very biased sample. Yes, there must be chances of getting biased through that samples. A convenience sample is a simply one where the units that are selected for the inclusion or for the study in the samples are the easiest to access. That we can access those samples which we are taking for the study, they are easily accessible by the researcher for that particular study. So convenience sampling is a very easiest form of selecting samples, but it is biased. It may be biased. Now we will talk about the next sampling, non-probability type of sampling, that is quota sampling. Hypothetically, consider a researcher wants to study the career goals of male and female employees in an organization. There are 500 employees in the organization, also known as the population. If I talk about quota sampling, it is you can say that it is a version of stratified sampling, with the difference that instead of dividing the population into a strata and randomly choosing the respondents, it works on quota. That means fixed by the researcher, the quota which is fixed by the researcher. For example of studying the students of MBA, we are considering 50 MBA students from 150 students. In the 5 institutions, the researcher fixes the quota of 10 students from each institution, out of which 5 will be boys and 5 will be girls. The choice of the respondents is left to the interviewer. Determining quotas depends on a number of factors related to the nature and type of research. For instance, the researcher might decide to interview 3 boys out of 5 boys from the final years and 2 from the previous or first year, or 2 studying from the morning course and 3 studying the evening course. So this is the example for the quota sampling, that we divide the population into strata or groups, and this is somewhere a new version of stratified sampling, with the difference that instead of dividing the population into strata and randomly choosing the respondents. Quota sampling, the samples includes a minimum number from each specified subgroup in the population. The sample is selected on the basis of certain demographic characteristics such as age, gender, occupation, it can be education, it can be income, etc. The investigator or researcher is asked to choose a sample that conforms to these parameters. Field workers are assigned quotas of the sample to be selected satisfying these characteristics. So let us move toward the next type of non-probability sampling. The next type of non-probability sampling is judgmental or purposive sampling. Purposive sampling. The word is also a self-explanatory word, that there must be some purpose and we can select that particular sample on the basis of the purpose of the study. The researcher will do the purposive sampling for that particular study. In this judgmental sampling method, researchers select the samples based purely on the researcher's knowledge and credibility. In this study, the sample expert in a particular field choose what they believe to be the best sample for the study in a question. The judgment sampling calls for a special effort to locate and gain access to an individual who have the required information. The most common example which I can consider for the judgmental or purposive sampling is B2B, business to business sampling. Yes, it is used into B2B kind of business strategy. In purposive sampling, the researcher purposely choose person who in his judgment about some appropriate characteristic required of the sample members are thought to be relevant for that particular research. In other words, researchers choose only those people who they deem fit to participate in the research study. That yes, that particular sample or a person which we are taking for our study fit into that particular sample. Judgmental or purposive sampling is not a scientific method of sampling, and the downside to the sampling technique is that the preconceived notions of a researcher can influence the result. Yes, thus this research technique involves a high amount of ambiguity. In this purposive sampling, the researchers rely on what? On their own judgment when choosing the members of the population to participate for that particular research work. This sampling is also known as subjective sampling or selective sampling. So this is about judgmental or purposive sampling. We can also call it selective sampling also. So let us move towards the next type of sampling, non-probability sampling. The fourth one is snowball sampling. What is a snowball? Snowball sampling helps the researcher find a sample when they are difficult to locate. This type of sampling, snowball sampling क्या है? जिसमें हमारे पास सैम्पल्स को कलेक्ट करना बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट होता है, जिसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या आती है कि हमारे पास पॉपुलेशन ही नहीं होती, हमें उस पॉपुलेशन के बारे में पता नहीं होता कि वो पर्टिकुलर सैम्पल जो हमें सेलेक्ट करना है उसके लिए हमें पॉपुलेशन कहाँ से मिलेगी और वो सैम्पल हमें कैसे मिलेगा अल्टीमेटली, जो कि हम अपनी रिसर्च में इंक्लूड करेंगे. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर मुझे कोई पर्टिकुलर स्टडी करनी है ड्रग्स एडिक्टेड लोगों के बारे में, एंड आई एम द पर्सन हु इज़ लिविंग इन अ सिटी एंड वेयर there are very less number of people those who take drugs, and it is very difficult for me to get to know about that who take drugs on a daily basis, कि कौन लोग हैं जो कि डेली बेसिस पे ड्रग्स लेते हैं. बीइंग अ फीमेल कैंडिडेट it is very difficult for me to go and find out. So although it is the point where I have to select those samples, I have to go for a research work, and I will consider, then in that case what I will do, I'll take the data from the net Is it authentic? Yes, people are the people which I am considering for my study. Is it an authentic data from the net? What I can do, that I can collect data from the police station, that those who take drugs, and n number of things which I will consider for my research work. So स्नोबॉल सैम्पलिंग कब यूज़ होती है? जब हमारे पास जो डेटा है सैम्पलिंग के लिए वो इजीली अवेलेबल नहीं होता रिसर्चर के पास. This sampling system works like the referral program. Yes, I got reference that yes, if I have told you guys that I am considering the data or the samples which I am looking forward for a drug addicted person, those who take drugs on a daily basis. Then I have to go a person, the one who takes the drugs on a daily basis, and what I can do, I can ask the same question, that who are your friends who take the drugs on a daily basis. So I'll get the reference that yes, this is my friend so and so, and he or she takes the drugs, and then what, then I got a reference from one sample to the next one. Once the researcher finds the suitable subject, he asks them for assistance to seek similar subject. आई हैव टोल्ड यू कि एक ड्रग एडिक्ट से मैंने पूछा कि आपके फ्रेंड्स कौन है, आप किन के साथ बैठते हो, किन के साथ उठते हो, कौन आपका बेस्ट फ्रेंड है. तो उसने मुझे दूसरे पर्सन का बताया, येस ये भी ड्रग लेता है, लेती है, और ये भी डेली बेसिस पे करता है. या उसने मुझे एक रेफरेंस दिया, फिर किसी और ने रेफरेंस दिया, या पुलिस स्टेशन से मुझे एक डेटा मिला कि ये लोग हैं पर्टिकुलर, ये डेली बेसिस पे ड्रग्स लेते हैं, यहाँ पे मिलते हैं ये लोग, या यहाँ से ख़रीदते हैं. तो मुझे, या कोई सेलर है उससे मुझे पता चला कि ये डेली बेसिस पे ये वंस इन अ ब्लू मून आता है. तो ये सारी चीज़ें मुझे एक रेफरेंस, एक रिसर्चर को एक रेफरेंस मिलता जाता है. जबकि हमारा ये डेटा सैम्पलिंग कलेक्शन में बहुत डिफ़िकल्टी आती है, क्योंकि दे आर डिफ़िकल्ट टू लोकेट, बिकॉज इट इज़ रियली डिफ़िकल्ट फॉर अ रिसर्चर टू फाइंड आउट दैट पर्टिकुलर इंडिविजुअल और ग्रुप फॉर देयर ओन स्टडी. Once the researcher finds suitable subject, he asks them for assistance to seek similar subject, those who are having the same characteristics which I am or any researcher is looking for their particular study, to form a considerably good size sample, so that once the population or a sample size is framed, then we can take the samples from those particular units. In this snowball sampling, the researcher what does? The researcher begins the research with the few respondents. There are few respondents who are known and available to that researcher, and subsequently these respondents give the other names or the reference. I have told you that we get the reference from one particular person or respondent and available to that particular researcher. Subsequently, these respondents give other names who meet the same criteria for that particular research, who in turn give more and more new names. And it is all about snowball, क्योंकि एक छोटे से आइस स्नोबॉल आपने देखा होगा. स्नोबॉल क्या करती है, जब वो ऊपर से फॉल डाउन होती है तो वो क्या करती है, अपने साथ सारी बर्फ़ को लेते 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 नीचे एक बड़ा गोला बन जाता है. तो स्नोबॉल सैम्पलिंग सेम है कि एक छोटे से ग्रुप को जाना आपने, या एक किसी इंसान को जिनको आप कंसीडर करना चाह रहे हैं आप फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर स्टडी, you just consider that person and you get the reference from that particular person, and you get more and more the reference from the various samples which you are considering for that particular study. And ultimately what the outcome is the large population just through the reference. And it is a chain कि एक के बाद एक, एक के बाद एक, एक के बाद एक. और आपका स्नोबॉल की हो गया, स्नोबॉल सैम्पलिंग की है, क्योंकि एक स्नोबॉल जब आपने देखा होगा, एक छोटी सी स्नोबॉल बनती है, वो गिरती है ऊपर से, वो धीरे 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 करके एक बड़ा सा गोला बन जाता है बर्फ़ का. सो दिस इज़ ऑल अबाउट स्नोबॉल सैम्पलिंग. और स्नोबॉल सैम्पलिंग को हम कब कंसिडर करते हैं? व्हेन इट इज़ रियली डिफ़िकल्ट टू आइडेंटिफाई द मेंबर्स फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर स्टडी. अभी मैंने ड्रग एडिक्टेड लोगों का लिया था, इसमें हमारे एग्जांपल्स और भी हो सकते हैं, जैसे डीप सी डाइवर्स कौन है, लाइक फैमिलीज विद ट्रिपलेट्स. तो दीज आर द डिफ़िकल्ट थिंग्स विच वन रिसर्चर हैज़ टू कम अप विद दैट पर्टिकुलर डेटा. So here we are done with the sampling, that what is sampling and what are the different types of sampling. We have discussed the types of sampling, probability sampling and non-probability sampling, and their types also. I hope you all understood the concept of sampling and the types of sampling. In the next video lecture, we will talk about the census and sample survey method and the observation method. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.